go to okay. 12:03. Yes, yes, and yes. All right, here we go. Folks, another nice, very nice weather. Yep. Good weather Thursday. And we're live in just 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and then we're live. Yep. Okay. We wait for our cue. He's in a little controversy right now. To say the least. Yes, he is. Yep. Okay. We had a major technical situation last night. It prevented me from going. There's Chris Moran. Hi, Deborah Schmidt. Happy Thursday, one and all. It prevented us from, it hasn't happened before, but it couldn't be ignored. It is totally straightened out. It's a technical problem. And it was just one of those things that we had to handle. So it's handled, though. It's handled. We'll see what develops later on. Yep. That is exactly right. I'll tell you, that Mosquito Joe of Rhode Island is amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Yep. All right, we're live. Just a moment. Whoa. There he is. Wow. Whoa. There's the guy they got in Rumford last night. Quite the scene. Yes, yes, and yes. All right, folks, 1 minute. 1 minute. Yep. Oh my goodness. We're going to wait for JR to give us the go ahead. At 12:06 on, I guess it's a historic Thursday. Only because it is the first time that this Governor Waltz of Minnesota, it is the first time that he's visiting the state, and it is the equivalent of when you run to the ATM. That's what's going on. He was in Boston last night. I think they raised a little over 1 million, and as we speak, Governor Waltz, who's in some controversy right now, which I'm going to tell you about, is expected to go. So see the swing, Boston to. Thank you very much, Nancy McCormick, as I see the stars on this Thursday. Expected to do a short. I mean, they go in and out. And I'm telling you, it is the equivalent of like running to the ATM machine. But right now, it is the John DePietro Show. This is at noon, folks, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. Good afternoon to everyone watching either on X or on YouTube, or you can listen at the website. I should do that like Hulk Hogan, at depetro.com. And then obviously our Facebook Live crowd as well. So it is, again, J.D. Vance has not visited the state. I don't think he will visit the state. And what you need to also understand, I'm going to talk about it, is the closer this race gets and remains, the less likelihood of any type of Trump Vance visit to our area diminishes. So, but this portion of the program is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Folks, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Remember, they have locally sourced vegetables, sweet corn, native tomatoes. They're a full-scale nursery. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Remember, they have annuals, perennials. I consider them Rhode Island's #1 garden center. If you're coming back from the beaches, you could pop in. There's nothing like fresh vegetables. Plus, they have screen lumen mulch available, full-scale nursery. They're having a great season. Support this terrific local business. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Now, folks, remember, if you want to learn more about the program, if you want links to some of our social media, and we're flying right now. I mean, I set certain goals for certain platforms. Obviously, we have our radio audience. Obviously, well, we have people that then listen online at the website, depetro.com. But we've continue to have great growth with our Facebook following. We also have great growth with our TikTok following. It's going to get even bigger. And then the two areas we've really been focusing on are both Instagram and YouTube and X, and they continue to all expand. So links to all of the social media pages, because they do offer different information, are all in one place at depetro.com, which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge with Anthony Santos. Plus, they have the market at Coesit, the Coesit Inn. Now, I do want to talk. Now, from what I understand, this Minnesota governor who Harris chose as VP, I do want to talk about the presidential race, and especially, it's a big day. He's not. I mean, I have not heard that he's sitting down with any media. That could change. I think we have an idea. If Governor McKee is instrumental with this, we'll see. I don't see. Last night he was in Boston for a campaign fundraiser. Seats for the dinner were 25,000. Suggested donations of 100,000. I think they had 50 people there, according to the Boston Globe, and they raised a little over 1.2 million in Boston. So, but I don't see any Boston media doing interviews with him. Actually, I don't see any interviews, even nationally. So I don't know if then somehow Governor McKee is going to try to allow or get that some local press, local media could talk to him. I'm going to say, just because of, number one, it's not his campaign. It's the Harris campaign, number one. Number two, on top of that, he doesn't have a lot of time. This is really just of an in and out. But I know that Ian Donis put it out. Listen to this. So the Harris campaign says, listen, so this is Minnesota Governor Tim Waltz in Newport, Salve, right at Salve, for a fundraiser, and photos, videos, recordings will not be permitted there. So, and it's unclear if Rhode Island reporters will even be allowed into the venue. The answer is no. They don't want them in there. So again, I want to repeat this, that essentially no reporters let in. They always go after President Trump. We had the rally yesterday. President Trump's having a press conference coming up this afternoon. Let's see. Ian Donis says, I'm not being allowed into the event. Campaign was rather uncommunicative. So there are two Trump supporters. I don't recognize them. Two of them in Newport. So, and that's it. But let me just read. I want to give you the latest now at Salve. Channel 12 has Tim White. Here's the scene this morning, blah, blah, blah. Vice presidential candidate Tim Waltz will be at the fundraiser at Salve. So, nice facility. I know exactly where that is, obviously, like a lot of people. And it's too bad. It doesn't sound like anyone is going to be allowed or even have close access to him, because there is this scandal with that CNN is breaking of that when the governor of Minnesota, friend of McKee. I mean, the guy's the head of the National Democrat Governors Association. He all of the people, all of the governors, they're passing around their cell phones, and so everybody is in fact trying to be able to say that they have some kind of relationship with him. But here's what, and the CNN story is interesting because the governor of Minnesota in 1995, okay, the guy was going like almost 100 miles an hour. They took blood alcohol level. He was totally blank faced, 9 sheets to the wind. And then as a result of that, they even had to transport him by ambulance, as a matter of fact, to the hospital. And it was like way over the legal limit. Okay, it happened. Who knows what happened? Made a mistake. Now, where the problem comes in, of which it doesn't sound like, we'll find out, but it doesn't sound like any local reporter is going to get access to him. But according to CNN breaking the story, in 2006, when the governor of Minnesota ran for Congress, about 11 years later, so 1995 to 2006, he completely changed his story and the dynamic of what had happened to him. So if anyone's going to so the Harris campaign is not saying anything. He's not saying anything. It's a national story, and CNN, by the way, the ones breaking it. It's not just Fox. So I'm going to touch on that. And of course, with Governor McKee and so forth, they're not going to say anything. But before we get into that, folks, I want to remind you about Royal Exteriors. If you're thinking of new roofing or siding for your home, contact Andrew at Royal Exteriors today. 401-533-9989. 401-533-9989. Royal Exteriors. Give them a call. Get the quote, free estimate. You deal directly with the owner, Andrew. Again, right now on this sunny Thursday, if you've been thinking of getting a new roof or siding, contact Andrew. Contact him at Royal Exteriors. Call today for a free estimate, 401-533-9989. Royal Exteriors, where the customer is king. They're based right in Johnston. Give them a call, 401-533-9989. I also share their Facebook page, and you can find them online at royalexteriorsri.com. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, on this Thursday, you're listening to the John DePietro Show. So President Trump is going to have a press briefing later today. And so there you have the vice president. You have all the media in Newport. And there's apparently 2 people that are there with a Trump flag. Now, what I find interesting about that is over the course of the weekend, you have these people complaining, how come we're not getting any attention waving our Trump flags? Here you have all of the press and media are in Newport. And it's national press that are traveling with the Waltz campaign in the press pool. And there's no one there. I'm not even saying that makes a difference. I just want to point out, I don't understand why you had all those people in Johnston over the weekend. This is a chance to get national publicity, national attention. You would think they'd coordinate, let's have all these Trump supporters out there, but that's just not for whatever reason, maybe they had to work or whatever's going on, they decided not to do it. All right, I want to this is a Race for the White House 2024 update brought to you by Propane Plus. Remember, for all your propane needs, call Propane Plus, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus. If you use propane online, go to their website, propaneplus.com. So President Trump is going to talk this afternoon. And I last hour and yesterday, I was playing on the radio show anyway, that former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and former ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, and the person that ultimately gave the most competition, even though it wasn't a lot, and he won in a landslide, to President Trump in the primary was, in fact, Nikki Haley. Now, let me say this. I recognize that there's a lot of people in Trump world that don't like former Governor Nikki Haley, and and they're not even shy about it. Whether it's and I'm talking like his real orbit, whether it's Tucker Carlson, I don't know, maybe Don Jr. I would imagine JD Vance is that, but you can't ignore that Nikki Haley, a problem they have right now. If you don't see, let me phrase it this way: if you don't see that there are some problems with the Trump campaign, then I believe you're not paying attention. Now, I want to talk to those that want to be realistic. Nikki Haley took to Fox. I thought she was very good. She's getting a lot of credit for what she said. They gave her a lot of time, by the way. But various people that are speaking out, I think, see the danger in what would happen that Harris wins. So if VP Harris wins, all you have to look at is the way Biden Harris have run the country. You just look at a lot of the failed policies going around in the country. And I don't know what things would look like 4 years under Harris Waltz. He's very progressive. He is a Bernie Sanders liberal. So if there are those people that are listening or watching right now, and you're an ardent Trump supporter, and you were ready to vote 4 years ago, I get that, or whatever, 3.5 years ago, but there are some people that they stay in, how can I say this? They stay in denial. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They just want to say everything's great. You have to look at reality. Listen, let me be very clear. Before people start saying who got to you, no one got to me. I am concerned. I was not concerned when it was President Trump against Biden, but Biden's not the candidate. And I don't understand if there are people out there that say they think they're going to swap him, but he's not getting back. He's not talking to Nancy Pelosi. He's going to speak Monday night at the convention. I am concerned because, and I'm anxious to see how President Trump does this afternoon. You can't. I don't know. They're talking about bringing Corey Lewandowski back into the mix, and I don't know if he's the right person. I know that right now that the play, and where I think Nikki Haley illustrates this very well, and there's a lot of people that are listening or watching. And again, I'm going to remove myself, but there are people, and when they're going to watch President Trump and they have on their Trump hat and they have a Trump flag and a Trump banner, they think he should be speaking directly to them. But right now, the reason why there's all these people in the middle, as Nikki Haley said, I'll give her credit, and they decide the election. See, we're not the target. You're not the target. If you're listening and you live in our area, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, we're certainly not the target. Nikki Haley actually has it down, whether you like it or not. It's the target audience right now are the supposedly suburban female voters in the battleground states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I am one of those people. I get there are some people that say, what are you talking about? This is going to be a landslide, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. There's some people that always say that, but you can't ignore everything. I'm anxious to see how he does this afternoon. He's having a press briefing. And I want to be very clear because I know the Trump crowd loves the crazy Nancy and crazy Kamala and lock her up and crooked Joe Biden. They love that stuff. However, there's a lot of women that don't like the insults. And I don't care if the MAGA crowd likes it. You have to play to who's available. Folks, this is what it's about to me. This is, do you want to just like make noise or do you want to win the election? I think in what troubles me, and it does, I wasn't. During the week of the convention, and after the assassination, and after the debate, I thought this was going to be a landslide blowout. I did. And that's why I also didn't think that JD Vance pick mattered as much. But now you have two guys that are criticizing women. I also understand that there are people listening saying, "Who care? I don't care that he's criticizing a woman." Some people care. And she is a woman of color. So you can't be in a bubble and you can't be on an island. And I'm anxious. I agree with those that say, because it's not like I'm a lone voice here, but Nikki Haley taking to Fox saying it's got to be on the issues. I agree with everything. Stop whining about the crowd sizes. I don't want to hear anything about it. Stop whining that she won't do an interview. She doesn't need to do an interview. We have her record. She's not like a new person on the scene. I mean, I understand why they're criticizing, but go with what you have, which is a lot. So she's against private insurance. There's a laundry list of things. She wanted to defund ICE. She wanted to defund the police. She thinks illegals should all be allowed in and get, all benefits. Go with what you have. There's a lot there. This guy Waltz, it's one lie after another. He's friends with McKee. What does that tell you? So it's one thing after another with that guy. First, he's a big blowhard. First, he misrepresented his military service. He allowed, as they've said, he allowed the rioters he gave them the matches to burn down the city 4 years ago, and then Harris bailed them out. This guy, I don't know, his mission in life is that, to open up children's eyes to transgender, for whatever reason. So people are not with that. People are not on board with that. I get it, but forget about Biden. And on top of that, I'm not even convinced he needs to be the focal point. She no matter what she says, she's responsible for the border. And I think there's a coherent way to make that argument. And I don't know. Supposedly, you don't know who to believe, that some of the people running the Trump campaign are under fire. Maybe they are. I don't know that. Maybe they're not. They shouldn't be. Because I just start to wonder, I hope that this is not going to be, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I hope that when they write the final story on the race for the White House in 2024, I hope they don't say the problem was that Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump could not pivot and adjust his campaign to Harris. I hope that's not the story. I'm waiting for that to change. And that would be terrible for us if that happens. Now, again, I want to be very serious. I'm not saying it's fair. This would be, right now, if the Republican Party switched out, which they're not going to do, switched out President Trump and put in Nikki Haley, the other side would be caught flat-footed. I just wonder if when he made the choice during the convention and he had come off the assassination attempt and your emotions are running high and you're feeling like, after the debate performance, I just wonder now if they had been down, if in fact, maybe he would have picked Elise Stefanik or would have picked Nikki Haley or would have picked a female on the ticket. I don't know. And I like JD Vance. I think he's a really smart guy. And I think he's an up-and-comer. But I don't know if that's who they need right now. If you're trying to get someone to reach out, across the aisle right now. I don't know. And it's an unknown. And by the way, nobody knows. I'll say this. Yesterday, CNN was carrying the Trump rally. That's different. You can't deny that's different. They wouldn't have done that years ago. I flipped around. It was late in the day. Fox was carrying it. MSNBC was not carrying it, but CNN carried it. CNN is independence. CNN are not the base. That's big. Give policy speeches. Give policy speeches. Not everyone, listen, the whole thing about lock her up, crooked Hillary, crooked, all right, like you. I mean, I also, you can find it entertaining, but not everybody finds it entertaining. Folks, this election update brought to you by J. Perry Paving. Have you been thinking of getting your driveway paved? You have? Call J. Perry Paving today, 401-732-1730. Serving Rhode Island in southeastern Mass. And actually, they'll go into Massachusetts, Connecticut. Letter J, J. Perry Paving. If you've been thinking of getting your driveway paved, or they have a great program for veterans, call J. Perry Paving today, 401-732-1730. High quality, fair pricing, free estimate. J. Perry Paving, 401-732-1730. You can find them on Facebook and also online at letter J, jperrypaving.com. Well, folks, good afternoon. And again, I want to be optimistic. You can't ignore that right now things can change. I agree with those that are saying the race really starts after Labor Day. As much as we pay attention to it, there's a lot of people that are not paying attention to it. I would argue, though, it is starting to, when you start to get under, and we're getting close to under 80 days. And by the way, next week is their convention, is the Democrat convention in Chicago. And I don't know what it's going to look like. Biden's going to speak Monday night. They're going to have President Obama out there. They're going to have the Clintons out there. And then Waltz will speak. And then, Kamala Harris will speak. She's not good at interviews. They're going to keep her away from doing interviews. 4 years ago, Biden didn't have the energy to be out on the campaign trail. So what they do? They hit him. Now, one thing I'll say about President Trump, I have voted for President Trump. I've met him I met him way back. But I voted for him. I'll vote for him again. However, he's a very unpopular candidate. Some people are lukewarm. And here's what I mean by this. There are some people that are, there are people who are Democrats and independents, and they don't have any real feel towards Governor DeSantis and or former Governor Nikki Haley. They may not like them, but they're a little ambivalent. Maybe they don't like them, maybe they do. But there are people that loathe President Trump. He is a motivator for the Democrat base. And right now, if you want to be objective, the Trump campaign, they need to find their footing. But it begins with the candidate. I found the Elon Musk. I don't know what that was. I tried to listen. It was just audio. I could have listened to it. I listened a few minutes. I thought it was kind of boring. I thought the night of the convention, the convention for the most part was great. I liked Hulk Hogan. I liked Governor DeSantis. I thought he was great. I thought Nikki Haley was great. I thought there were a number of people that spoke that were very good. I thought President Trump went on too long. You don't want to be old and rambling. President Trump is 77. He's going to be 78 next June. They need to keep him short. They need to keep him concise. Less is more. Everything he's going to do should be half. His convention speech was the longest in history, 93 minutes. Should have been a half hour. Could have hit the 11 o'clock news. The Elon Musk interview was 2 hours. Should have been much less. Everything, I spoke to someone with the campaign, and the conversation was brief. And I just said, it's a problem because they know the answers, but less is more. Everything he's doing, cut it in half. He needs an editor. They put out the speeches on the teleprompter, and then he's just go. You don't want to be an old rambling man. I admit, part of it, I know a lot of the script, but I I find it I find it boring. I do. I find it boring. You don't want to be old and rambling. If you've ever been somewhere where you have an older person and they're on the mic or they're have command of the room and they're just droning on and on, that's one thing. But if it's an older person, meaning if it's a young person, that's one thing. If it's an older person, you just start to groan. You know, he is older. He's got to keep it sharper. They have to tighten things up. I think it's good they had the rally yesterday. He's having a press briefing today. There's no reason to do an hour-long press briefing. They have to, and I don't know. See, this is an unknown because with campaigns, if we want to be honest, and I do, so much of this is the problem the campaign or is it the candidate? Is the problem the campaign or the candidate? I don't know. We're going to find out. Now, if there are people that are watching saying you don't know what you're talking about, he's going to win in a landslide. I can tell you that what I find encouraging is that they are realizing they got to put him out there more, and it should be quicker and sharper. I just think of a football game. Terrible analogy, I know, but like quick, sharp offense, quick, no huddle, quick passes, 5-yard gain, 7-yard gain, boom, no huddle, get to the line, boom, quick play. Let's move the ball. Let's pick it up. If you've been following there's a huge complaint and concern going on right now at Patriot training camp with Gerard Mayo. This season could be a disaster. If you want to get Patriot season tickets, wait 1 year, because then you really could be able to maybe get tickets. But what they're saying is he's never run a training camp before. And by all accounts, Patriot training camp is a disaster, let alone they just get rid of one of the better players. But what we're hearing about Patriot training camp is it takes too long. These guys they've never run a training camp before. And they're doing a joint practice with Eagles, and the Patriots are taking twice as long as the Eagles. Pick it up. Many times I like if you're rooting for a team, and then sometimes, they make it a halftime adjustment and they go into a no huddle. And then it's like, boom, and just go to the line and another quick play and another, flat out. And then like, let's move the ball down the field. That's what, and I said that's what I said to someone with the Trump campaign that I compare it to. And then it's going to mean more. So quick jabs. Let's gain some yardage. Listen, she is very beatable. And I am mortified and actually frightened at the prospect of Harris becoming the president. This would not be good. It wouldn't be good for Rhode Island. It wouldn't be good for Massachusetts. It would not be good for our country. And he's been leading. But you can't be in denial. You can't say everything's great. It's not great. They need to adjust and pivot. You see one thing, and obviously I like pro football a lot. It is my favorite sport to watch. I like college football a lot. I like basketball. I played basketball. I like college basketball. Yeah, not so much on pro basketball, but college basketball. And one of the best signs of a great coach is the halftime adjustment. They go in at halftime and they say, all right, we have to adjust our defense. We got to change our offense. And you really see that, who's brilliant at that is the UConn coach, Daniel Hurley. Goes in at halftime, guys, all right, hold on. Halftime, we're down by 4. We should be blowing them out. Second half, here's what we're going to do. We're switching to a man-to-man. And then, then we're going to go into a 1-3-1 zone. We're going to pick up the pace on offense. We're going to get ready because then we're going to move into a full court press. Like, you change the tempo. That's, to me, and then what happens? UConn comes out, they go on a 14-0 run, and the other team calls a timeout. And what do the announcers say? Boy, the halftime adjustments. Same thing back when the Patriots were the Patriots. They were sluggish when it was Brady Belichick. They'd go in at halftime. All right, halftime adjustments. From now on, we're not running the ball anymore. I know we practiced we were going to run the ball. We're not running the ball anymore. We're going to start to target them down the field. We're going to go to a no-huddle offense to start the second half. We're going to start to blitz on the defense. Halftime adjustments. That's what they need to make. The question is President Trump going to make those adjustments? Folks, I want to remind you, if you're right now in the market, maybe you're thinking of getting a new vehicle. Well, Volare Motors, they would love to talk to you. They Volare, Volare Motors, specializing in Volvo sales and service, quality pre-owned vehicles, largest selection of Volvos in Rhode Island. They're located 1003 Park Avenue in Cranston. You can call them at 401-942-9568. So, and they want your vehicle. Maybe you're thinking it doesn't have to be a Volvo. You want the best value for your trade-in. Maybe you just want to trade in your current vehicle and get a vehicle from Paul. Volare Motors, New England's #1 dealer in pre-owned Volvo sales and service. Great prices, great vehicles, great service. Volare Motors in Cranston. Think of that. 27 years of specialized Volvo sales and service. Volare Motors. Paul Staskevich. Paul's the man. Paul is who you want to deal with. And then Stephen, the mechanic, will forever service your vehicle. Volare Motors, 1003 Park Avenue in Cranston. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. So what's today all about? You're going to see all this hype about the governor of Minnesota, Tim Waltz, is going to be, he's just doing a tour. That's what they do. Send him out. He was in Boston last night, grabbed a little over $1 million. He's in Newport today. He'll grab a $500,000. They get him back out. So I forget where, I know where he's going next. I forget. They're going to have him somewhere this afternoon. By the time this 2-day campaign swing, he's like, it's like I said, like going to the ATM. He'll leave with like $5 million for the campaign. And that's where you send, the VP out on. As far as Harris, she's not doing interviews. She's not good at interviews. She wants to break from Biden. They're trying to figure out, and I don't know who's calling all the shots with the Harris campaign, but as someone that I'm not a fan of hers, if you listen to a segment I do with Donna Perry, we talk about she's not particularly talented. She's not a hardworking person. She's not the most likable person. She is not a serious person. She's a creation of the media. And whoever's running this campaign knows that. So what are they doing? You don't see her. She's all over TikTok. They're running commercials. She's doing rallies. She's saying everything prepared. What do they want to avoid? They want to avoid what happened when she sat down with Lester Holt. Harris, the vice president, gets very testy, and she can be snarky. And they don't want to have. Now, granted, Sarah Palin was not vetted, but they don't feel like having her sit down and have someone just rattle off some things about the border, some things about that have happened in the Biden administration. And so what are they doing? She's not doing any interviews. Does that mean she's someone capable of governing? Of course not. But all they're focused on is winning the campaign. Folks, this portion of the John DePietro Show, I want to remind you about, well, you know what I'm going to say. If you're having a problem with your feet or your ankle, Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists, right there, Smithfield Medical Center, Route 5 in Smithfield. Beautiful, boy, state-of-the-art building. They take all health insurance. It's Greenville Foot and Ankle. They have 3 board-certified podiatrists, who are there, and they will treat you, whether it's skin conditions, bunions, hammer toe, fracture, sprain, digital x-ray on site. It's Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist. Foot pain is not normal. And there are people that start to accept, I just can't walk around anymore, right? Or they turn it into, I don't know, God's will. If you're having problems with your feet or your ankle, that really eats into your quality of life. Make an appointment, sometimes same day, 401-949-3220. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist. If you're listening or watching on this Thursday, and maybe it's you or a family member, listen, do not spend all your money at some foot store on expensive inserts from some 22-year-old kid that dropped out of CCRI. Contact Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're doctors. Hello, 401-949-3220. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, you're listening to the John DePietro Show at 12:44 on this Thursday. So I don't know what. Oh, let me just see. Oh, okay. I'm seeing Ian Donis has now been allowed into. I'm looking into the fundraiser. I'm also seeing Channel 12. They have footage. The motorcade heading to Newport. He'll arrive at Salvia Regina, feature Governor McKee, the congressional delegation. Let me see if there's any other updates on this. So Governor Waltz is in Newport. That's what we know. He's making his way. He has been. Newport police have blocked off Narragansett Avenue checkpoints. Traffic is backed up, as you can imagine. Yeah, they want to be. Okay, there's some protesters now. Channel 6 has some protesters. Oh, pro-Palestinian protesters outside of the event. No funds for genocide. Waltz not welcome. Now, free all Palestinians. Free Palestine. So let me see if I don't recognize any of them. But so there are Palestinian protesters, but I don't see there were only two. Okay. Now this is interesting. 80-year-old woman was punched in the face during an alleged robbery in Providence. Channel 6 has this. Let me just see this. An 80-year-old woman punched I Love Mexico restaurant, Smith Street. Entered the restaurant, took several. Well, that certainly seems to be targeted. He knew exactly who he was looking for. Yeah, there's just the one report of some Trump people that there was just one report of that. Let me see if I see any other. There's the mayor of Newport. That's a nice blazer arriving. Let me see. I'm just seeing some others tweets. They were all excited for this guy. I can't. All right. Well, there are some pro-Palestinian end all U.S. aid to Israel. So the anti-Semitic crowd has shown up. Helena Folks is arriving. There she is. I like some of this stuff. She's getting ready for her run against Governor McGreed. Okay, so that's all happening. It sounds, but it sounds like they are letting some press in, as a matter of fact. Sounds like they are letting some press in. Now, as far as President Trump, he is speaking late this afternoon. VP candidate Tim Waltz visiting Newport today. I don't know. Are any members of the local media going to have a chance to question him, and will they ask him? The latest controversy on him is this CNN report that he misled people about what happened to him with a DUI. So we'll see if there's any type of update on that. So I'll check that again. But that is the big news. And again, I'm not saying anything that others have not said in the past, which is it's a quick in and out. and it's about money, and then they're all going to come out and say positive things. And because he's a governor, and Governor McKee has met him before, and Governor McKee, I have his cell phone. He'll be talking quite a bit about it. But folks, I also want to just touch on. I recognize Rhode Island and Mass. It's not just Rhode Island and Mass. It's the Northeast corridor. It wasn't, and I tell people it wasn't always like this, but I mean, you can't ignore the way the state has gone. I mean, we did have Republican governors. You had Governor Allman, you had Governor Kachiri. At one point, you had you had Representative Claudine Schneider, Republican. You had Senator Chafee. You had, a governor at the state house. You had then Congressman Ron Makeley. I mean, at different times, our area, hey, even most recently, you had Governor Charlie Baker, Republican in Mass. But you can't ignore that in Rhode Island, the last Republican to win statewide we're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of that, which is Governor Kachiri, by the way, barely eked out a victory over then Lieutenant Governor Charlie Fogarty in 2006 to get reelected. But that's it. In 2010, Robitaille came close, but because Ken Block ran, Robitaille lost by 2.5 percentage points to Chafee. And then in 2014, Fung lost to Gina Raimondo. In 2018, Fung lost to Gina Raimondo again. And then, we know what happened 2 years ago, which is now they've changed everything with all this ballot harvesting. Folks, this portion of our program, I want to appeal if you're listing and thinking of getting a new fence. Remember, FenceRI.com, the premier fence and deck contractor. If you're listing right now on this Thursday, and maybe you have been thinking of getting a new fence or deck, FenceRI.com, $200 discount if you mention our program, wood deck construction, licensed and insured, 5-star rating, free online quotes, whether it's for a pool, whether it's for a pet, whether it's privacy, FenceRI.com. Online at FenceRI.com or call them 401 732 0555, 401 732 0555, FenceRI.com, the premier fence and deck contractor. Remember, online or call them 401 732 0555. Let's see. Kevin sent me an email asking me what's the Mexican restaurant on Federal Hill that I was at. Don Jose's Tequila, upscale Mexican cuisine, and it is true. I was on that back patio, 351 Atwells Avenue, Don Jose's Tequila, that back patio where there is even parking back there, but they have the margarita flights, just $29.99, brunch on Sundays, and then $26.99 3-course special Monday through Thursday. It's terrific. It's Don Jose's Tequila. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, you are listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. So because of the governor of Minnesota, the VP candidate is going to be in Rhode Island, actually has landed in Rhode Island. That will dominate the news cycle. And I hope that the Rhode Island Republican Party, I hope that they are going to frame it a little bit about how, what the policies are with Harris and Waltz. These are, President Trump isn't wrong when he talks about how extreme their positions are, and it would not be good. Look at what they've done look at what Governor Waltz allowed. Black Lives Matter and the protesters, they destroyed Minneapolis. They burnt a police station to the ground. And Harris was out there trying to raise bail money for them. So, but I hope Nikki Haley, as I mentioned, she continues to get a lot of talk about just the way she's framing how to go after them. And I hope that she appears with President Trump. I hope he taps her as a surrogate. I hope that the Trump campaign says to Nikki Haley, we need you out there. And whatever deal they have to cut, many times it's to then, if you win, give her a position in the new administration as an ambassador of something, or a cabinet head is what I meant. So I think it is important. By the way, I also want to mention, I don't know what to make of this story about this deputy chief, the Rhode Island Department of Corrections, and how this guy was. I don't know what to make of that. The whole thing does seem bizarre. I don't know who this person is, meaning it's not like he's the warden. I don't know, like just like you, we don't get reports about who some of the people are that work at the correction. So I have no idea. I mean, it's a very odd story involving supposedly filming minors and this other stuff. But and apparently, where did I read that the girl's mother was even cooperating with it? Was it that, or I don't know what to make of that his story. Someone immediately who was like a correctional officer contacted me immediately yesterday saying, "Why aren't you going after that?" Like, I don't know, it just happened. But it is it's not like he's like a big local name. I've never heard. I don't know a lot of the people that have those types of positions at the correctional facility. But I admit the whole thing is there it is. Let me just read that quickly. NBC 10 high level staffer. That's true. Child pornography, video voyeurism. Former Johnston police officer Seth Crosby. He says it's a misunderstanding. By the way, his attorney is the same attorney representing Mark Perkins from the Charlotte Lester case. At his home, a juvenile female he knows and her boyfriend were having relations in the basement. Now, I don't know why a juvenile female that he knows would be in his basement. A juvenile female he knows. It doesn't say it's his daughter, stepdaughter. Both juveniles noticed a hand holding a phone with a lens. The two of them went to look to who had the phone and found him standing in the dark holding his cell phone. He wouldn't turn it over, denied filming them. The girl and this Crosby's wife went to the state police. So I don't know who the girl is. So the girl and then his wife went to state police. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate on it, but very, very, um, very odd story. But hey, and to be clear, state police, they weren't investigating; they arrested the guy. So I don't know what to make of that. How he's working at the prison, or the whole thing seems a little unusual. Hey, I want to remind you on this Thursday, if you've been thinking of a new kitchen or bath, folks, Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Now, I did a video with them last week. They have a phenomenal design center located Greenwich Avenue in Warwick, right near Crown Plaza. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. They take you from concept to completion. We highlighted and I showed you, I mean, they are very, very talented. And it's a state of the art design center. Make an appointment at 401 433 7272. Dreammaker 401 433 7272. If you've been thinking of a redesign, updating your kitchen or bathroom, Dreammaker 401 433 7272. And they go by three principles: respect, integrity, and customer focus. Transition from dreams to reality and experience upgraded living with your bath and kitchen remodel today. As I demonstrated, Dreammaker, Call them. You're going to want to do business with them. 401 433 7272 for Dream Maker. I'll tell you, Dennis and Christina, they're very, very talented. And they are the type of people, as I say, that with Dennis and Christina or Dreammaker, they're the type of people that they will take you from concept to completion. They provide really remarkable work, whether it's again for your kitchen or bathroom, or if you saw the video and I did post it, there's a variety. They can also do home office. They can also do like a nice little bar setup. I mean, they're wildly talented, and that design center is really remarkable. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. So next week, the Democrat convention in Chicago. I mean, I'm not looking forward to watching it. I'm interested to see what type of protesters they're going to have, how they're going to handle it. Of course, it's going to be scripted. Of course, it's going to be like Hollywood. And Vice President Waltz is in town today. I'm curious to see if any local media get in front of him, if they're going to ask him about this CNN story that he misrepresented what happened. CNN reporting it, not Fox. He misrepresented a DUI that happened to him when he launched for Congress and how it differed from what actually happened. All right, here's what we're going to do. Yes, Facebook Live later. Right now, we're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. And again, the big story, Minnesota governor, VP candidate Waltz in Newport today, but another full hour to go. Stay tuned for the John DePietro Show.